it's not outside the norm.
Right, but they're doing okay.
Yeah,
They should be in the conference, that's the first
Yeah.
step.
yeah.
But
Let me just jump at this since I don't have Jason
Where do I sign?
But maybe it's good, it's not a given.
This?
Yeah, everybody, who's your, who is Tracy? Who is Tracy? Yeah. And control that is yours.
Oh, okay. Let's see, 9:20.
Yep.
All right, we are live. All right, this is the monthly meeting of the Solon Springs School Board, September 23rd, 2024. We will have roll call. John.
here,
Ben.
Here.
And myself here. Brad is absent this evening. He had other business, and as we know, Jason had his resignation back last month in August. So that brings us to announcements. All right. Let's see. I have announcements. September 23rd, school board meeting, student staff. When is our next meeting going to be, Pete? That's October.
The committee of the whole is October 7th.
Okay.
However, due to the funding notifications with our state aid and whatnot, and annual meeting, our meeting is actually the 4th October, and I'm
Okay.
looking at that now. So it is the 28th
28th.
of
Okay.
October.
28th of October. Yes, and that's our annual meeting of the budget. Okay.
That's correct.
All right. So October 28th will be our next school board meeting. Okay. That brings us to approval of meeting agenda.
So move.
second.
All right. John and
I
Ben.
got a busy night.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes for this evening's agenda. Approval of the minutes from last month.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, John and Ben. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes to accept last August 19th minutes. Treasurer's report.
All right, our beginning balance as of 8/1/24, $252,143.44. Our ending balance as of August 31st, 2024, $696,855.26. Our local government pool as of August 31st, 2024 is $2,371,071.29.
Okay.
Can I read all the numbers? I don't have my glasses, so I can't see them. Can I read all the ones you need?
Yep.
All right.
You're good. All right, well, thank you for that, Ben, and that will be filed for audit. All right, that brings us on to expenditures. Does anybody have any questions for the expenditures for Leanne? Is everyone good?
I did.
Yes.
So, maybe this is the one. Did we already approve, so there's one on page 7, Permar Security Services, 25,000 for windows and whatnot. Did we approve that prior, or how?
This was all, stuff that we had previously as far as some of the upgrades in the wiring and security pieces,
Yeah.
so.
That was like the door locks.
The door locks, yeah, that was
things like that,
discussed
so.
August meeting?
Okay, must have been a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, because they saw him here today when I went by.
Right.
So they were here doing, finishing up work.
And that, the reason why we were having that approval of the disability paddles earlier this month is we knew that Permar was coming and working on the door contacts for our security, so they'd be in there, and it'd be a logical time to do
Yeah.
that, so.
Very good.
Any other questions for expenditures for Leanne or anything else? Okay, that brings us on to student council. Don't want to hear this evening for that. Committee as a whole, that brings us on to that. we have it? We need to approve this.
No, it's just information once again.
Any further comment on that, or? Okay. All right, Eagles Wings Charter School update.
One thing new that you'll see here is that there are minutes from their September meeting in here, being intentional of getting all of the governance board meetings in board docs as well as their minutes, so that it's open to the public and transparent, and it's all housed in one location instead of multiple locations. So what you have there is the minutes from our last meeting and some of the discussion points.
Okay. Yes, that's good, so we can see a little bit more of what's going on.
Right.
Okay, anybody have any questions on that? All right, athletic director's report.
So unfortunately, Nathan is busy with supervision of the volleyball match tonight. He said there is not much significant on here to report. I know that, yeah, football team is doing well with our co-op. and,
Bordeaux.
Yeah, so they've made the Superior paper once or twice. Middle school seems to be going pretty well. Got the pleasure to watch them a few times, and yeah, it's nice to see that. Volleyball, I think they're doing well. They're definitely learning and improving as they go. And then cross country, doing a great job. Middle school girls basketball, yes, doing extremely well. And trying to mix it up as far as making sure everyone gets some playtime, because they've been very much on the winning side.
They win by large margins.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. So
we have some good runners again.
That's
runners and good players there. So excellent. Not sure as far as the Mertz rookie scramble, since that was just Saturday, just how well it went. Still quite a few participants, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that went. And that just brings in that reminder that for our winter sports, we'll have our proposals for next month for our winter sports. So, and WIA area meetings, he had a thrilling meeting today in Rice Lake, and not much to report on. And then the co-op renewals, I've signed them, Keith has signed them, and they're ready to go for continuation of our fall co-op sports.
All right, well, thank you for filling in, Pete.
Good.
All right, principal's report, Ann.
Yeah, so the first slide there is our current enrollment numbers. There were just a few slight changes, nothing too significant. Just following up on our PLC team, we currently established a weekly collaborations calendar, our schedule I should say, with our elementary staff and specialists, so we can start honing in on that PLC process. Our next step is to start creating that collaboration time with our middle school and high school level teachers as well. The PLC team will be meeting here in the next week or so to continue that planning and start implementing some of that PLC process with staff to give them some guidance. Our PBIS team will also be meeting on October 3rd. During this time, we're going to start focusing on building an acknowledgement system for both our staff and students, and in addition start focusing on providing some materials and resources for some weekly PBIS instruction for our staff to implement with our students. So it's that continuation of our common language and that PBIS within our whole school. Some upcoming events, we currently have our Fast Bridge assessment window open. Our K through 8 students are currently taking those assessments with our staff. And then something new this year, just to kind of acknowledge our fall athletes, we're going to be holding a middle school, high school assembly on that October 4th date to kind of coincide with Northwood's homecoming. So we're still recognizing our students here, and hopefully kind of do like a little pep rally, something fun with the kids in the afternoon, get that
Nice.
engagement piece. We also have our staff in service coming up on October 14th. We are in the process of creating a schedule for that day as well. Some things I kind of missed as we're going through things. Upcoming, we'll start evaluating and getting our educator effectiveness going, and that's kind of our evaluation system for our staff. And then our guidance counselors has also, Mr. Hopke and I have been involved with working on our ACP, so our academic career planning, and kind of getting a team together for that as well and start getting that rolling. And then in addition, I'm also working on refining our truancy process and what that looks like with our attendance and kind of cleaning things up on that end. So some upcoming training and conferences. Next week, I myself will be, not next week, geez, it's tomorrow. We'll be attending a literacy training for Act 20. That's a requirement of my position and our teachers. And then lastly, I have staffing updates. We recently filled our middle school Eagles Academy paraprofessional, which you'll review later this evening.
Okay,
Well done.
all right, thank you, Ann.
So I have a question on virtual charter. Is the students that are in virtual charter, is that the program we sponsor in some way?
Yes, that is a charter that we hold.
Okay.
So,
And then, so you can homeschool without being in virtual
Right.
charter?
Right, so how this works, Wisconsin DBI has it set where students, if they're homeschooled, can actually come to the district and take 2 courses at any point in time. So for our fall semester or fall semester, a student or a person can come in and attend 2 classes within the district and not be enrolled in the district, if that makes sense.
Right.
So,
And then does the school receive funding for those students, or no?
no, because they're not technically enrolled with the
Okay.
district, so.
Okay.
And the caveat to that, if they're living in our district, they're still paying, taxes that
Right.
are assessed for the district.
Yeah.
But yes, we
But
don't
no
get,
state
we
funding.
don't get state funding for them, that's correct.
And again, there could be homeschoolers who are outside of the virtual charter that say, I don't want anything to do with,
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
anything to do with the district, I will just do my own.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, superintendent's report.
All right. Just keeping it short and sweet this evening, well, short anyway. So just once again, a reminder about the WASB regional meeting. That's coming up rather quickly in a few weeks. And I know that I will plan on attending that. Not sure if anyone else is. I know that Brad was at the regional meeting last year when it was held in Rice Lake. This one's a little bit closer, so yeah, let me know if you're planning on attending. Moving on, the strategic planning process. So just know that we have that set for tonight. It's on the agenda. And then the next step would be meeting with Kevin. Ann and I would be meeting with him to go through, this is what it looks like to implement this piece, or the mission, the vision, the values, and the priorities. And what does that look like with rolling this out and communicating it both to staff as well as the community. So, and how do we use that as our guiding posts moving forward? So,
And you're not anticipating any more board sessions with Kevin?
I am not.
Okay.
And so that should be the last one as far as the strategic planning process.
Okay.
All right. Next one, beginning of the year, it was a great kickoff. We've had, a few small glitches. Universal screening, that's up and running. I know that Ann hit on that as well. That information is going to really help us as we start to develop our interventions. And I know that at the elementary and the middle school level, having intervention time where we can actually implement these interventions, and it's built within our schedule. We've also looked at the resources for math and reading interventions. One is free, and both of them are scientifically research-based items, so they fit the bill for interventions. Like I said, one is, fortunately, it's free. The other one we have to pay for seats, but I think it's going to be a good thing to really start to roll that out. And then ongoing training and support from admin and CISA 12 on interventions and this implementation of everything we're doing. Actually, Ann and I had a meeting with multiple players from CISA that are supporting our teams here, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. And then we had a unified effort going forward. So I'm really looking forward to this piece and providing the right support and the best support for our staff. So it's going to be good. So next on the list, unforeseen things. I'm glad things worked out the way they did, but due to that, made a decision to purchase an AED for the daycare center. So we will have that up and running hopefully within the next couple of weeks. We've already ordered the system itself, and now we have to look at the actual box that it's contained in. Usually those are alarmed boxes so that when someone opens it, people know. So we're getting that together, so we'll have everything set.
And are these defibrillators, they're designed to not need a whole lot of training on them, or?
So it's funny you ask that. A lot of them, it operates, and there's a voice system that guides you through how to use it, but it's also incorporated into the CPR training that all of our staff at the daycare have to have, as well as individuals here. So.
Okay.
The other nice thing about these is we have them at work, and we actually had to pull ours out one time. Somebody with no training, like you say, the voice thing walked them through, plus there's a very nice card layout where to put the pads, and he didn't put the pad right, and the machine said, pad's not in place. So it wouldn't activate, so actually all I'll do is just move it a little, and it worked.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're pretty foolproof, I would have to say nowadays.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yep, absolutely. And then next, with mental health providers, or the last one here, mental health providers in the district. So it's just a very concerted effort to get more providers and opportunities in our district here. Emma Bemlot, she's been in the district previously, and she will have her license here December, January, and I've already signed an MOU with SOAR so we can get her on board to provide services here. And then North Lake's trying to expand that as well. Yep.
Well, I feel like everybody must know this but me. Are we required by the government for to provide mental health services?
Nope. So this, what I'm looking at is having actual providers that can come in and meet students here.
Do we pay for it? Or
We do
the
not.
parents?
That is all through insurance.
They're just using our building,
That's correct. So,
and any provider, any licensed provider.
so where we need to get this is develop an MOU with them, have a copy of their license as well as insurance. So,
Okay, so that helps.
okay. And then also met with Jason to explore different ways to bring key members of the community together to address some of our needs community-wise. So,
And just curious, any particular reason why you met with Jason on this?
And I know this is kind of dear and, near and dear to his heart as well, and he was kind of asking him some questions on it, and we've had some previous conversations, so, anyway.
Okay.
Well done.
Thank you. All right, any further questions for Pete on his report? Okay. Public comment? We've got no public comment.
Well, actually, I really like the idea of having mental health services here at the school.
Thank you. Yes, I think it's something we definitely need. All right, recommendations. Okay. Hiring recommendations, Jessica Moore, Eagles Academy, middle school paraprofessional. Replacing Melissa Smith. Melanie, sorry. And then we have, let's see, hiring recommendations, just go same thing. All right. All in favor of that?
I,
Aye.
Aye. So did Melanie resign?
She did.
Okay.
Yeah, her resignation was part of our, September. resignation.
I
Or
missed
we,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
sorry.
All right.
Do you know when she's starting?
Okay, that brings us on to consideration of acceptance of donations. Education Foundation, elementary teacher donated $200 for supplies.
Yeah, so, yeah, the Education Foundation, they were generous enough to provide $200 for each of our elementary teachers.
Oh, each?
And, yes.
Nice.
Each.
Wow.
of our
sweet,
teachers.
so moved.
So, and it was very kind of them. They've really looked at what teachers do for their students and stuff that they provide out of pocket. And they felt the need to acknowledge that, so.
Good. We're gonna be sending them a thank you card for that.
We will, as a district, I know that some teachers have already. So.
Oh, great, great. Yes, that's huge. When I thought $200, I thought that was for the entire elementary teachers, but $200 per teacher is even
So it's
better.
like a deal. So are they working, are the teachers going directly with the Education Foundation, or are we running that through the school?
So the Education Foundation, they purchase gift cards
Gotcha.
and have them in cards for each person along with a letter explaining why. So,
That's so sweet.
yeah, it was a good thing, great gesture.
All right. Then goes on to our spring fall cooperatives. As you can see, each one, we have one for football. As I said earlier, Pete and I have already signed these.
So, kind of backwards in a way.
Yeah.
We've signed off, but officially it needs to be approved by the board. So, so,
All right.
Are we doing all of them? Or
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, we can go
Yeah.
separate. It
No,
doesn't matter.
I've,
so.
I've looked at it. I'll make the motion to
Second.
approve it.
All right, John and Ben, all in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion passes to accept the co-ops for football, boys cross country, and girls cross country. All right, approval of policies update.
So once again, we had the first reading with the committee of the whole. We have that choice to take a look at these again or approve these with the provided recommendations.
And no other changes from the first read.
There are no other changes.
I'll make the motion to approve all of the listed policies.
Second.
All right, John and Ben, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right, next is on to high school volunteer graduation policy.
So the one thing that I did is, based on our previous discussion, is change the current policy that we have to match the handbook. But I know there was further discussion as to if this is going to be a requirement. So it's a two-layered thing in the fact that, yes, changing the policy to match the 80 hours that's currently listed and what has been used for our graduates up to this point. but it is more of that discussion as to the continuation of that practice. And this could be something that, if so choose, we can just approve the update of the policy itself and move on to, or table this discussion to our committee of the whole in October as well.
Why would
So,
we do that?
It's just an option.
Okay.
So if we feel like we need more time or more information, we can certainly do that, so.
Well, I think we had a pretty good discussion on it last time, and I'm ready to go if you are, and you wanna make a motion, or you
Well,
want
I've
more
done,
discussion?
I did reach out to some of the other districts to find out what, do they have this in? Let's see, Northwestern does not have any policy whatsoever, or doesn't have a requirement for this. Drummond did not, I did not hear back from Hurley or Butternut. I did hear back from Scott Kelly down at Northwoods. They have a requirement of 25 hours that they have to achieve within the, from 9th grade to 12th grade. So they have to only do 25 hours. And he sent me a copy of their policy, and it was very well laid out. The like you, through your church or Ernie Swift camp or whatever, like there's a number, like some great ideas where you could go get these volunteer hours and what has to be done to achieve the 25 hours. So I thought it was nice that, theirs was a little bit less. I also reached out, to students. I guess they were both my daughters, and my daughter Lily had well over 200 hours in her 4 years. She was trying to go for the award of the most volunteer hours and was beat out by Dean. His parents own Paul's Poorhouse.
Oh, by Dane.
Dane. Yeah,
Dane,
was beat out by Dane by like about 5 hours or something. So there was even like competition amongst the students to who could get the most. And I know my daughter, she competed in 3 sports, was an honor cord around her neck, and still managed to achieve that goal. So discussions I've had with some people on this was, we look at the world runs on volunteers. I mean, I'm sure your church has volunteers, every sport we have volunteers helping out. We have, running races, grandmas, Swamigan Fat Tire. I think of how many volunteers I passed while running that race, thanking and making sure to thank them. My personal opinion, do we need to have 80? But I do feel there is some sense of thing to get these kids to understand that, nothing functions without volunteers in it, Not everything is a reward of money, but a reward of gratification to get involved in something and be part of something. So that's just my
We've
feeling.
also allowed kids to do, like, if you were to babysit for your niece or nephew, that could be, if they weren't getting paid, then they could use that as their volunteer hours too.
Yeah, that's understood, but that to me, that has little value. I mean, babysitting for your niece, and now we're gonna count it. So here's my take on it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with keeping the program for people that wanna earn a half credit by getting so many volunteer hours, but just not make it mandatory. And people that don't wanna participate, that's a personal and family decision. So I think we remove the mandatory part and make it truly voluntary. And if parents wanna, and the student wanna participate, they're more than welcome to do so.
I like that.
Well, the other thing I wouldn't mind seeing too is if we have it 80 hours, right? But if you're someone who just enrolled your kid in their junior and senior year, it's gonna be tough to get those 80 hours. So I wouldn't mind seeing it that we're cutting, it's 20 hours per year, but it's also prorated. If you walk in your senior year, hey, we're just gonna ask you to do 20 hours, or, if you can achieve more, that's great, but we're not gonna, so.
Is that what it is now, Linda? That is what it is now. So it's 20 per year. So if
Yeah,
they're
I know,
not
but we don't
interested
have anything spelled out,
in
is
there.
what I'm saying, is we don't have anything spelled out. And I would certainly hope that the school did not, mandate on that. So I know we've had students that enrolled their juniors and senior year as parents move here. so,
I absolutely agree about the importance of serving
yes.
and volunteerism. I'm torn a little bit. I don't want the school to parent my kids. I don't want the school to get, like, that's my job. So I can agree with the value of volunteerism, but I don't know that, is this even serving what it was designed to accomplish in 1997? I'm not sure. I would love to get rid of the mandatory. And if we could celebrate volunteerism by giving them half credit, we can celebrate volunteerism by giving an award. We can also recognize that it's the parents' job, not the school's job, to build character.
Now, is the half credit awarded when you get 80 credit, you get the 80 hours? So is it a one-time half credit during high school, or it's not, I did 20 this year, I get a half credit, I
No,
did 20 next
it's-
year, it doesn't have-
It
Half
has to
credit.
be the
It's the
80.
full
Has to be
80,
the 80.
yeah.
And it's given at the first semester end if achievement test. And
My son spent 3 days at Ernie Swift camp,
Yeah.
72 hours of volunteer time.
Right,
Half a credit for going to 5th grade Ernie Swift camp.
right.
You think that was probably more like a vacation for him.
Well,
But,
I don't know, have you ever been to
Yeah.
Ernie Swift to spend the night?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
watched
fun.
my daughter having to spend,
Yeah,
like, you're done now, you gotta go do all your schoolwork.
Yeah.
So like, she felt it was hard, cause she said, at the end of the day, I'm still required to turn in my
Yep.
assignments by the end. So,
so would we amend the motion? Or make a motion to amend the policy?
Yeah, to remove the mandatory element of the volunteer program. If a student and a family wants to participate, great. If they get 70 hours, great. If they get 80, you get a half credit. But mandating it through the school, I just don't see as a function of the district.
Right. The one thing that we could explore as an avenue is National Honor Society, because that does require volunteer hours.
Certainly other
So
organizations.
that could be
within-
an avenue that we explore, so.
If the I don't even know if we have a curriculum committee anymore. If there was a coherent plan that came back that answered the why, I think never mind. I'm off.
Yeah.
no, but you bring up a valid point, why was this originally started in 1997? There had to be a purpose and a function. Of why we
And
felt
how
it was
could we
important.
leverage this to be a well-rounded, rigorous education? I don't know. Right now, it just feels like. a
No,
hoop.
I get what you're saying, how do we make it, what was its function in 97, correct? And then how do we make it a part of an educational value? To, what are they gaining and teaching out of that? I mean, yes, it's a lot, things we can, some of the things that come to my mind, it's good to give to your community and you learn something. Like I have a niece that was a requirement, she lives in Washington, or Portland, Oregon. She said going to a soup kitchen made me appreciate, what other, thinking everybody at a soup kitchen is just a homeless person, finding out, no, there's hardworking parents that are coming there, they're saying, our budget is so tight, we gotta come here for food. And how grateful the people were to serve, to be, thank God you're here to give me a hot meal, just things like that, yeah, I think could, I know.
There's, right, and just talking about this, there are other methods, as I was just talking in some conversations. If the district had planned a service learning day where we have organized things within the community and we have community members engaging with students doing things in the community, to me it's a one and done, but to me it provides more connection. So, there's different avenues or ways that we can look at
To promote
student service.
volunteer.
That's correct.
Right, yeah.
So,
Alright. Any more discussion? I'll make a motion to basically alter the policy to remove the mandatory language and keep the rest of the program intact.
I think also to add, I think it should be spelled out too, you're only required, like if you walk in your senior year, we're not gonna force you
Well, there'd be no requirement.
Yeah,
You
there'd be no
remove the
requirement. That's true.
mandatory.
That's
So,
So that doesn't,
alright, so my task, and our task for October is to come up with revised language with this, and take a look at the policy as well as the handbook to reflect this action.
So is that taking place as of this year then? Is our current
that's a
students?
good
Hoping as of
So
tonight,
it's-
I would think.
So after the year started and the kids have been,
what about the kids who've already been putting in their time?
They get the benefit of, I mean, they get credit, or I mean, a half credit.
The seniors are hitting 80 hours, they'll get their half credit.
Yeah, okay. All right, all those who,
Got a second?
I'll second.
second, first to second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion passes.
So now, just to clarify, you will bring a policy, but to reflect the motion.
Yes.
That is correct.
But we don't approve the policy, it's just, here it is, right?
Oh.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
have to review it and.
Right,
and make sure
I'm bringing it
matches.
for review and approval, because it's not only just policy, the 5900 that's here, but it's also the handbook.
Right.
Okay, that brings us on to agenda item of, selection of grade
Seclusion and
replacement.
restraint?
Yes,
Check. This was the report given at the committee of the whole, and it is just approval to accept this and submission to DPI.
So moved.
Second?
all right, Ben and John, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, snow removal bill and contract.
I have updated the request for bids to reflect a 2-year contract. My intent is to post this immediately upon acceptance.
Oh, did we do this?
I thought we did this, didn't we do
I
this?
thought we already approved it
No,
for a year.
it's, but formally having the language. We talked
Okay.
about it, but we didn't
so moved.
officially
Yeah,
approve.
we
that,
had to have
so.
official.
My apologies, I thought we.
No,
Okay, second.
that's all right, okay. Again, Ben and John. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Wings Charter School handbook.
So the Eagles Wings Virtual Charter School Handbook was approved by the governance board, and once again, it's for your review and acceptance.
Did we do a read through this on the last committee? I know we did the.
We did not.
Not that.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, we still got Holly Jones in here.
Yeah, so I would, let's count this as a first read through and.
Yes,
and
I would
then,
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the next board,
Or even committee as a whole, we can.
Yeah.
Agenda, yeah. We do see that, we need.
Because I
to
thought
change.
all of that was updated, but if you, we'll go through it again.
And I guess Jason's in here too as a school board rep.
Yeah, because it was approved by them.
Yeah,
prior
when
to
Jason
this.
was still
Prior
acknowledged,
to
so
this.
now we would have to, I still think that would be right, because it was approved and he was still set.
That's certainly true.
Yeah. All right, so we will put that on to either next month's school board agenda or into committee as a whole. What would you guys prefer? Committee as a whole for second
Yeah.
reading?
Yep.
we can do
We'll
that.
put it in a committee, committee as a whole for second reading.
Second reading,
Yes.
that have updates though.
Yes. All right. This brings us on to district visions and values.
So with the document attached here, it's the mission, vision, and values that have been discussed during our work, and it's for your approval.
And this is essentially the culmination of all the,
That is correct.
yeah. All right, I'll make the motion to approve it.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? John and Ben. It's just- yeah,
It's
just
not
who
normally
went
this
first.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. All right.
All right.
District priorities.
Check. I know it's the same document, but I wanted to split the mission, vision, and values along with the priorities, simply because I know the priorities was a long list of things, and we went through it and wanted to make sure that it was definitely, those three were definitely the ones that the board wanted to have.
We're looking for a secondary approval of the same?
No.
No.
So all I asked for on the first one was the mission, vision, and values.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is the priorities.
What was our first, second, third,
Oh,
top
got
priorities?
it.
So the
Okay.
strategic
Yes.
priorities
So
proposed.
Strategic priorities, strength, communication, enhance education, and foster academic freedom.
Do you believe that you can measure 1 and 2? And if we can't measure them, are they then
So
setting us up to failure?
I would say with priorities, the way you would go about that is your practices. And are we strengthening our communication avenues, both internal? Yes, I think we can measure how are we communicating, how frequently are we communicating, and so it's having that focus, and to put a specific measure on it can be hard. But we can look at, are we sending out different modes? Are we communicating more effectively in some sense, right?
And I mean this with, there's no teeth to this, but these three become the means by which we now evaluate you.
That's
correct?
Correct.
So if the fuzzier these are, the less clear, the more subjective evaluation can be.
Mhm.
And it only takes one person to bellyache about communication to make it, to blow down the house of cards.
Mhm.
That's what, I get concerned about that, like, we can
Sure.
spend 4 years.
I would say it gives us a focus on, these are the things that are most important to us. That doesn't mean that for my evaluation, you can set specific goals based off of those priorities, okay, that are far more measurable. Because everything that we do, I would say that everything that Ann is working on, or our teachers, this comes to the top as far as what our focus is going to
Yeah.
be. Doesn't mean that this is our specific goal. I mean, we can have goals that are based off of that
Sure.
priority. I mean, I understand where you're.
Because academic rigor is number 3.
Right.
That means it's, what, least like,
Oh, no.
No, it doesn't, these aren't
Yeah,
given a
I don't think-
number.
I wouldn't read them in order.
Yeah.
They're not specified in
They
1, 2,
may
3.
fluctuate.
I'm just saying, these are our
Okay,
top 3,
fair enough.
so.
We're just saying, these are the top three. How do I put it? Every organization should have 5. What's your top 3?
Yeah.
But they're not always gonna be in order, cause things,
okay,
if we get communication going strong and good, okay, what moves, and they just kinda ebb and flow together.
that was helpful, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yep, no troubles.
Communication, we expect rigorous education, so we have to communicate that. So, all right.
So moved.
Second?
Second, Ben and John, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion passes. Start college now?
So we had the one application for Start College Now.
So this is an existing student?
That's
Yes.
correct.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I'm just looking at how do you get an NDSU email? That's cool. I mean, that's great, but,
Yeah.
Maybe that, I'm guessing that might be a parent.
Yeah. Could be.
okay.
This
Right.
is not a public,
No, it's not.
we approve this.
Second?
All right, Ben and John, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion passes, yes. Anytime we got a student wanting to get ready to go to college. All right, new board member selection.
So we have 2 individuals that submitted letters of intent for the vacant position. And, First one would be Travis Ellison. So,
Come on up,
Please.
Travis.
What we're looking at here is, this is an open process, and this, the opportunity for the board to get to know the candidates and make a decision as far as the vacancy. And once again, this process is just for the remainder of this year. So whether it's an incumbent or a new person would have to submit their paperwork in December by that January 1st time frame, and then be up for election in April. Then the results of that election for this position would only be 2 years then, because it's getting it back on cycle of where Jason's election cycle is. So that election in April would only be 2 years versus the full 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so is there a reason, and I'm not promoting that we do this, but that it's not just to fulfill his full term?
That's
Can we
correct.
not do that, or?
According to board policy, no.
Okay,
So,
works for me.
So, do we have any questions? I'd like to-
I guess could you specify where to fill in the, put in the application?
right, and we can do that later on,
Okay.
because
All right.
our wonderful Ms. Parker can help you out with that.
Okay, I wasn't sure to do it here at the community center or.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
sooner-
yeah, we've got some time with that, but,
Okay.
yeah, first things first, so, please.
Yeah, Travis, I mean, it's great. I'm glad you've taken interest in this. You know, this is, glad you've taken interest in this, because this is, like I say, sometimes can be a very difficult position to be sitting in when you're dealing with the public, because you're always dealing with people's children, and they're expecting to be in a safe environment.
I was discussing with a friend, and he goes, you know what? There's no other position in a community or on a board that would be the toughest, because you can't make everybody happy. Everybody parents different. You can't. No, not everybody can win or have their way. So.
So, with that, could you mind explaining, what is your interest in you have in this?
Okay. I've always been kind of thinking about it, especially because I grew up here. I was class 2007, and we were the first ones to go all the way through since they added on the elementary, and I loved it here. Like, so when I had a son, like, there's nowhere else he was gonna go to school. It was here. So, and I noticed the opening now, and he's a little older, so he can be home. He can make his own food, so I don't have to try to work, go home, prepare, and then try to wrangle him in here, because I'm a single parent. I have been since he was 10 and a half months old. I've raised him by myself, so he was always my first priority. And I've always been a person that could just do whatever I felt was the right thing, no matter what people thought. So I figured I could do that, you know.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I kind of like to see things change, because I noticed there's a strong disconnect between parents and the board. You know, at one of the meetings I went to, the bad one last year. And I grew up with most of the parents here. So I think I have a pretty well respected by them, that if any decision I make regarding their children would be the best possible decision that I felt. So hopefully that would relieve a little bit of the stress there, but I understand it still comes with the job. And I also like to see the schools take a stronger stand on like bowling. My son has had a hard time from a few people, and he's so sweet, and it's really tough to see him go through this. And so I would like to do what I can to make it better for him and anybody else in the school.
Is there anything specifically with regard to bullying that you think about that this district should do different? I mean, we've got, policies, that high, but.
Right. I guess, maybe a little harsher discipline. Instead of just lunch detention, maybe a couple lunch detentions. I'm not expecting to go extreme, but I always grew up cause and effect. You do something, this happens. But if it's not working and it's still becoming a huge problem, maybe we gotta take a little stronger stance, you know? Just, really gotta nip it in the butt, you know, and if they're a huge problem, I guess, I hate to throw a student out, but if they're a huge problem for everybody else, then maybe it has to be done. And I know the school needs money, you know, and have students and enrollment, but also, if they're causing a huge issue for students around them, it's, you know, my son's trying to learn, and he's got this crap stuck on his mind all day long, because people are whispering mean stuff to him during class. That's taken away from his learning experience. You know?
Thank you. Ben, do you have anything like that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm sorry that that's your son's experience. I'm not discounting what you said with this question. You see something broken that you want to fix.
Yeah.
Dream a little bit about what you wish. Like, is there something missing? Like, if you had a magic checkbook and you could make a change here. So maybe not like bullying's over here. We got that one.
Yeah.
Think about like, man, I wish we could do this. Boy, I'd put my shoulder into making this positive change here.
Yeah.
I don't know if my question makes sense. But.
Right. Well, I guess a few ideas. But like you guys were talking about the volunteerism earlier. You know, I really like the idea. You know, I kind of taken everything you guys are saying. You know, I like your idea about it shouldn't be mandatory, and about that you were saying. I agree with what you're saying, but I also disagree because it is a parent's job to build a character in their kids, but not everybody is the best parent, you know, or has the time to spend that extra time. So a lot of my character was actually built at this school, you know, because really at school, there's no other profession that impacts the future in the next generation. So really, the school is, in my eyes, is they're kind of like a second parents, you know. And you got a lot of different people teaching you, you know, their ideas and their opinions. And it's our duty as a parent to teach our children to take those different opinions and make their own opinion to form who they are as people. And so I think the school is really responsible for building a lot of character. And I like the way you were talking about with the soup kitchen, because I'd really like to see something where the school could do volunteerism at something impactful like that, because, you know, a soup kitchen or something important like that would be such a humbling experience, because a lot of people don't realize, they just go home, food's ready, you know? They don't realize that people are struggling out there. It'd be a really humbling experience, and I think that would be, I'd love to see that, you know, the school actively, because you can't really rely on all the parents to, you know, make sure that experience is for their kids. So I'd love if the school could make that their experience,
Right.
and because it would really be a humbling experience for them. And I think that would be, I guess so. That's one I was thinking. I was actually just thinking about it over there. So, and I'm sure there'll be more ideas
That's
that
a
come to
good
me.
point, yeah. My wife had my daughters do Toys for Tots. So then came Christmas, they were like, oh, thank you. They really got the message. So, yes. Anything else? Any further questions? All right, well, Travis, I thank you for coming up and
Yeah,
speaking with us,
thank you.
and definitely for your interest. So we do have one other candidate, and as you know, I don't know if you do know.
No, I don't.
Oh, we have another person or Brittany, that is interested in this too. Is she gonna be joining us?
Yeah, let me try to contact her.
I mean, you can stay and
Can
listen.
I ask your last name?
What is Brittany's last name?
Hooray.
Hurry?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, it should be a good one too, though. So,
Well,
I went to
see,
school with her,
that-
so that's why. You know.
Okay, well then that's great. We have two people from the same
Yeah.
graduating class.
And the school meals, right?
Oh yes. I told Pat Gary when I found out he was retiring, I go, if we find out you go start cooking for another school, we're moving our kids. Oh, did your husband tell you? We're at a lighthouse at Apostle Islands. I'm sorry. But one of the old superintendents was caretaking the lighthouse, and he asked about you and Pat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr.
That's cool.
Schlichting. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get Brittany on the phone here, please.
We're keeping these separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably
All right.
step
Yeah.
off.
If you'd like to.
Thanks,
All right.
Travis.
Thank you. Thank you, Travis. Yes, ma'am. Hi, this speed. All right, I'm gonna put you on speakerphone here
Thanks.
in just a second, so.
I'm gonna go feed my son.
Hold on. Okay. Hi, Brittany.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So folks, it's Brittany Hooray, for our board members, we do have Keith Nordskog, Ben Kidder, and John Swanberg. Brad Hunter is not with us tonight, so.
Okay.
All right, Brittany, we've read over your resume, which we appreciate you sent, and also your letter of interest, which is good. Can you please describe in your own words why you're interested in this position?
Sure. So I guess I've been a member of the community pretty much my entire life. I grew up in Solon. I graduated from Solon Springs High School in 2004. And I do still have students in the district, Valina, Smith, and Zayden Smith. So that's kind of my main reason is just kind of maybe just giving voice to the students, and just also just kind of help ensure that maybe their education is as beneficial as it can be. And I mean, that's kind of why I joined or wanted to join. I guess as a student myself, as a master's student myself, I can kind of maybe commiserate with some of the difficulties that may be occurring between students and staff, and maybe just kind of serve as like a conduit for concerns from students, parents, the community, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So this is John Swanberg. So school board meetings are normally Monday evening. Are you under a different obligation now for Mondays, or?
No, this is atypical.
Okay.
This would not normally happen. The meetings are every 2 weeks, right?
First and third.
Yeah, generally at first and third, I think like October and maybe May are the two exceptions to that.
Thanksgiving and
Yeah.
Christmas may be different.
Yeah, typically we wouldn't be doing a project like this into the next week, and I would just make sure we didn't schedule anything like this again on a weekend,
Okay.
if that were the case.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, do you have any questions, John?
Yeah, so I guess you talked a little bit about your motivation to want to be on the board is, and I'll kind of steal what Ben said before, was, do you have a vision at all, or like where you'd like to see the district go, or are there things you see that should be changed, that you'd like to have a hand in, implementing any changes?
Well, I guess, I'm trying to, I'm sorry guys, I'm pretty tired, I'm trying to think here. I guess one of the things that I've noted, my kids do tell me things. I've noted that there's at least one teacher there that maybe there's some issues going on that I was kind of concerned about. That's one of the reasons that kind of brought me to this point. Also, just I guess in terms of a vision, I guess just kind of seeing just kind of a more unified system or a more unified situation going on. I just feel like there was some instances that happened last year or two that I saw. I watched on TV there, and I was like, wow, I just can't believe this is the school, and I just can't believe kind of this is the point that we've gotten to. By nobody's fault necessarily, but this is just kind of how things have gone. So I guess vision would be to just see things be people being kind to each other and just seeing things be more unified between the district and the community. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, that's very good, yes.
Um,
Ben, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I don't.
Sorry.
For the record, John took my awesome question.
I don't have anything further to ask, so. Okay.
I'm sorry, guys, I'm
No,
barely
that's-
hanging on here. Oh,
Yeah, we had, no,
I appreciate you letting me in.
yeah, I appreciate you making the effort to get a hold of us and stuff, and we understand there's commitments at time that come up, and, you know, it happens to all of us. You know, all of us, and at times we could not make it to meetings, or, you know, because of work obligations or family obligations, so don't feel you've done wrong, so I'm glad you're able to join in, so. All right,
Thank
no
you.
further questions, guys? Okay, all right, thank you, Brittany, I appreciate it.
Okay, all right, thank you, have a nice evening.
You too,
Bye, Britt.
Okay, thank you.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. So with this, in making a determination, these determinations have to be in open. So that's why there is no item scheduled on the closed session. This can be conducted by paper ballot. However, if it's conducted by paper ballot, each board member has to put their name on the ballot as far as which choice they made. That's for public record. So there are a few choices as far as how you want to conduct this.
The opposite of paper ballot would be,
That's what I was
Voice
just
vote?
gonna say, yeah.
Yep.
So we can do a voice vote for the candidate of choice, or we could do a paper ballot and determine, you know, the selection at that point.
voice votes. I'm okay with a voice vote, or, there's three of us here, it's on the public record.
Yeah, it's all good.
It will be.
I don't have any pen though, so.
John, are you fine with public?
Yeah,
Just
that's
a
fine.
voice vote?
Sure.
All right, I'm fine with a voice vote. Okay,
So do I cast my vote?
yes,
Okay. I would vote for Brittany Hooray.
okay,
Brittany, hooray.
Brittany, hooray. I would go with Travis.
Okay. 2-1.
2-1, so. All right, well, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your votes, and, yes.
Okay.
All right, so you'll let Brittany,
I will contact members and let them know.
okay, all right, thank you very much, so. Let Travis know too, there'll be
Yeah.
upcoming board vacancies. John, we know you were, when it was you
Yeah.
two, Brad, you actually got up first, and, you know, John got on second, so.
Then they discovered who I was and said, let's bring John in.
Yeah. Who let that out of the bag?
I
All
was on
right.
policy committee for a month.
Okay, that closed session, which we have no items, and that brings us to, no action items, that brings us to adjournment.
So move.
Second.
All right, Ben and John, we are adjourned at 7:05 PM. Wow. 1 hour, 5
So, Pete,
minutes.
you'll let Brittany and let her know about the requirement?
You didn't see secret.